So this is going to be the penultimate Premier League preview video, and I for one have thoroughly enjoyed the season. It's been a great title race, and it's, everything's still all to play for. The title is still yet to be decided mathematically. The top four race has really heated up after the North London derby, and of course the relegation battle isn't quite over just yet. So if you're watching this, please give this a subscribe, a like, and leave a comment below. Thank you very much. So let's start with the top, where we have West Ham against Man City away. I say the title race isn't done mathematically, but it's almost there. It's almost finished because Man City are top of the league, 3 points ahead of Liverpool with a better goal difference. So it is definitely Man City's to lose now. And realistically, I think it'll be very, very difficult for West Ham to get anything in this game, let alone beat Man City and then properly take it to the final day. West Ham going into this game, I still think they'll be somewhat hungover from the European campaign they had, a phenomenal campaign they had, even though they went out really disappointingly against Frankfurt. Obviously, they should still be really proud of themselves. And they could finish sixth because Man United are completely on the beach. And if West Ham win, they go above Man United. And at this rate, I don't see Man United beating Crystal Palace on the last day. So West Ham, they've got an incentive to go ahead of Man United and finish sixth. But for Man City, of course, they will probably win this game. Although they do have a somewhat crisis in terms of injuries at the back, with Stones, Laporte, Diaz, all out injured, and Kyle Walker. So West Ham could exploit that vulnerability. However, the attacking form Man City have shown, it'll be hard for Man City not to see anything. Well, for me to see anything but a Man City win. I mean, look at the goals Kevin De Bruyne scored, especially the third one he scored was absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant, brilliant player. So I can only see a Man City win. And the defensive issues, you know what? I can see West Ham potentially scoring from a set piece because they are strong at set pieces, but I can't see anything but a Man City win. So I'm going to say Man City win this one by 3-1. And also, just quickly, it's not that I don't want Man City to win. It's just that I want there to be drama and excitement. So ideally, I would like West Ham to win, to go above Man United, and then for it to go down to the final day in terms of the title race. But I do think Man City will win this one 3-1. Then we have Liverpool playing Southampton away. Now, of course, before this game, they play Chelsea in the FA Cup final, and I will do a review of that in due course. But I do think Liverpool win that game comfortably, just because of the form Chelsea are in, which is not great. So after that game, Liverpool, of course, will be playing Southampton away, who Southampton, they themselves are in really bad form. Even though I personally, from the outside, think that Ralph Hasenhüttl's still done a pretty decent job and is still a good coach. After the Brentford loss, it was the first time I'd heard Southampton fans get kind of angry and disappointed. Well, not disappointed, but call for Ralph Hasenhüttl to be sacked. And when it's the away fans singing that and saying that, it's a little bit of a worry. I still think Ralph should be in charge next season for Southampton because, like I said, I think he's a good coach, but they are in really bad form. I think they've won once since February. They had a really good month in February, but then they got one win since. So it's not been good for Southampton. It's a difficult one to call in the sense that Southampton might just pull one out the bag. They beat Liverpool at home last season, I believe, so they might shock the world and win this one. But I think Liverpool will win this. And I hope they do because, like I said, I want the title race to go down to the final day of the season. So I'm going to say Liverpool will win this one 2-1. I think it'll be closer than people think. Then let's turn our attention to the top four race. Now, of course, Spurs going into this game at home against Burnley will be buoyed magnificently by their brilliant win over Arsenal. Yes, it helped that they got a penalty. Yes, it helped they got Rob Holding sent off. But they were totally dominant and definitely deserved to win. So they'll be fully confident they can finish in the top four now because they've got Burnley at home, who are fighting for their lives, and then Norwich away, who are already relegated. Although, I say they're easy. If there's one team that will bottle it on the last day of the season away to already relegated Norwich. It is Spurs. So actually that fixture might be really hard for Tottenham. But anyway, they play Burnley at home. Burnley, they don't have a great record against Spurs in recent years. This will, for me, will just be damage limitation from Burnley's point of view, and just a hit of hope in the sense that absolutely they'll take a draw, but I don't think they'll get one. I think Spurs will win comfortably 3-0. Then we have Arsenal away to Newcastle. Now, after that really damaging defeat in the North London derby, they've got to go to Newcastle, who they themselves have been in brilliant form since January. I mean, I say this again and again about Newcastle. Since that shock defeat at home in the FA Cup against Cambridge in the third round, they've just been on a magnificent run of form and have won about 10 of their 15 Premier League games since. They've been in really great form. They've played really well. They passed the eye test, in my opinion, as well. They're a solid, balanced team, good going forward. So it will not be easy for Arsenal. And Newcastle, they are surprisingly 14th. So they'll want to try and finish as high as they can, because apparently, according to The Athletic, every place you finish going forward, you receive an extra £2.2 million. Not like Newcastle need the cash, but every little helps, right? So Newcastle going into this game will be relatively relaxed, full of confidence. They'll just play with a bit of freedom. Although I imagine some of the Newcastle players might try to be playing for a place next year when Eddie Howe has got a bit more time as manager. He's had a proper pre-season. So some of the players might be playing for their place next season. So they'll be up for the game. It's going to be really difficult for Arsenal in that sense. So it's a really, really tough one to call. I'm going to go for a draw. The defensive issues don't help for Arsenal in the sense that Holding's now suspended. Ben White may or may not be fully fit. And I say that because I was surprised he didn't come on in the second half in the North London derby. That just says to me that the Arsenal coaching staff and Arteta don't necessarily trust White to play for 45 minutes and stay fit. So I reckon he may or may not play. Of course, Kieran Tierney's out. So Arsenal do have issues defensively. But going forward, I think they've got enough. Martinelli's in good form. Saka's a good player. Nketiah's in good form. And Odegaard's a Rolls Royce. I can eventually get that out. A Rolls Royce of a player. I think Arsenal will get something. I think they'll draw 1-1. Then let's turn our attention to the relegation battle. I've already mentioned Burnley and their game against Spurs. I think that's a complete free hit and I think they will lose. So that gives Leeds the opportunity to win, potentially win against Brighton and then go above them. It's really now do or die for Leeds, and it's looking really bad. They got that brilliant comeback win against Wolves, a solid draw against Southampton at home, and then a brilliant win against Watford, and then even a solid draw away from home against Palace. But after that Palace game, when I did that relegation run-in video, Leeds had the harder of the fixtures in terms of the most recent fixtures coming up for Leeds, because they played Man City, Arsenal and Chelsea, and they lost all of them, and really badly. You look at Man City, it was an okay performance and probably not a 4-0 scoreline, but they got some injuries in that game. Then Arsenal away was really bad, and of course Luke Ayling got sent off, and then Dan James got sent off against Chelsea and they collapsed in that match. It's looking really worrying for Leeds, and like I said, I think this is do or die now. Brighton are a good team and they're in really good form. They'll have nothing to fear whatsoever, and they could catch Wolves. They could catch Wolves in 8th. So Brighton will be going for this game and feeling very relaxed. However, Leeds are at home. They've got brilliant fans who'll make a lot of noise, and they'll play with full attacking intensity. I can see Leeds getting something out of this game. But it's so hard to call, isn't it? Because they could just get a man sent off like in their last 2 games, and then Brighton just completely control the game. I think Brighton will control the game no matter what. I think they'll create the better of the chances. However, I think Leeds will get something out of this game. I'm going to say a 2-2 draw. A crazy 2-2 draw. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a sending off. However, like I said, I think Leeds will get something out of this game. Then we have Everton at home against Brighton. Now, after Everton's brilliant wins against Chelsea at home and Leicester away, you'd have expected them to beat Watford. So that was a disappointing point. But in terms of relegation battles, you only need a few draws and then a win here and there, and you propel right up the table. Remember when Everton were on 29 points and really looking like they were going to go down? Well, they're now on 36 points. One win will be enough for them. And I wouldn't be surprised if it came against Brentford. Now, Brentford are a good team, and in Ericsson and Toney, they've got match winners and really dangerous players. However, with the Everton crowds, and also with the fact that they'll probably be feeling a little bit more relaxed in the sense that they're now 2 points clear of Leeds and Burnley, I think Everton will win this game, and that will completely confirm them safe for next season. I can see Everton winning this game 3-1. Then, just to recap the rest of the Premier League games, we have Aston Villa against Palace. Of course, Aston Villa have just confirmed the signing of Coutinho, which in my opinion is a great move. And fair play for Coutinho. He apparently, according to John Percy, who is quite a reliable journalist, Coutinho has reduced his wages by 70%, which is really significant if you think about it. Yes, he's on a lot of money anyway, but for anyone to reduce their wages by 70% is quite a lot, even for a footballer. So fair play for Coutinho. It just shows how desperate he was to play at Villa next season and with Steven Gerrard as manager. Palace, they've had a really good season. Being 11th, even though they could drop down if they lose any more matches, playing Villa away and Man United, although I say that Man United are in really bad form, Palace have not been in great form recently, but they've still had a great season. I think Villa at home, I can see them winning this one. I'm going to say Villa win 2-0. But also Villa have been playing really well, especially going forward. Ings and Watkins look like they're clicking again. So yeah, I think Villa will win 2-0 at home to Palace. Then we have Watford already relegated at home to Leicester. Now, of course, Watford have recently confirmed their appointment of Rob Edwards. For me, personally, I think it's a really good move. According to The Athletic, Watford are now looking to appoint a manager in Rob Edwards, who is a young English manager, and then give that manager time. Time will tell whether Watford's hierarchy will give Rob Edwards the time. But on paper, it is a good move. Rob Edwards is apparently a very highly regarded coach. He did an excellent job at Forest Green Rovers in getting them promoted. A little bit strange in the way Watford approached Forest Green Rovers and then Rob Edwards contacting Watford without telling Dale Vince, the Forest Green Rovers owner. That's not really good taste, and yeah, it's not the best outside looking in. However, on the face of it, it is a good appointment in my opinion, because Rob Edwards is a young up-and-coming English manager. He plays good football. I think it might take one or two transfer windows for Rob Edwards to bring in the players that he wants to suit the specific style of football, because currently Watford play 4-3-3, a very rigid 4-3-3, and then looking for the likes of Emmanuel Dennis and especially Sarr, and for individual brilliance. But Dennis and Sarr will both almost inevitably leave, and I think Rob Edwards will want to play that 5-3-2 formation. So there's going to be a lot of change at Watford next season. So these games, they don't really matter too much, unless Rob Edwards gets in contact with maybe the players and they start playing that formation. I don't know. But it's also a little bit awkward because Roy Hodgson's still the manager and these are his last few games in management. So it's just a bit weird at Watford at the moment. Leicester, on the other hand, I guess a lot of their fans would say it's a disappointing season, given the heights they've reached in recent years, winning the Premier League, finishing in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and then winning the FA Cup. It's probably a relatively disappointing season. 14 losses for them is quite a lot, and they could fall quite far, because looking at the table, they are at the top of the middle pack, and they're only actually 5 points away from Southampton, so they could fall down a fair few places. So they won't want to lose this game, and I don't think they will. I don't think they'll lose this one, just because Watford are just fully focused, almost fully focused now on next season. So I can see Leicester winning this one 3-1. Then finally, Wolves at home against Norwich. Similar to Watford, Norwich will be completely focused on next season. They've had a horrific, shambolic campaign, and it's culminating in all likelihood finishing bottom of the league with 21 points. Very poor from them. The hope for them, like I've said with Norwich, going forward, is they've got the likes of Aaron Rowe, and Max Aarons to potentially build on those young players next season. And Dean Smith and Craig Shakespeare, I think, are decent coaches, especially at Championship level. So Norwich I do have a few things to look forward to next season, but they'll just want this season to be ended now. As for Wolves, they'll want to still finish in 8th and make sure Brighton don't catch them. And with Wolves, I think there's going to be a lot of changes for them next season. In my opinion, Bruno Lage has done a really good job. It's easy to forget that at the beginning of the season, he was a new manager, never managed in England as a proper manager. He was assistant at Sheffield Wednesday manager, but like I said, he was never a first team manager in England. And Nuno Espirito Santo, before Bruno Lage, was there for 4 seasons. It could have been so easy for Bruno to not do well and then Wolves sack him and then Wolves struggle, but that's not been the case. They finished 8th, which is really respectable. However, Ruben Neves is probably going to leave. They're relying on Jimenez going forward, who's still kind of recovering from that horrific head injury. So I think Wolves are going to have to make a lot of changes next season. So they've got a lot of work to do. But in terms of this season, I think they'll beat Norwich quite comfortably 2-0, just because Norwich are so bad, and that will probably confirm their place in 8th. So that's the Premier League preview for the next set of games. I haven't done Thursday's games just because most of those teams are playing before that. So I'm just previewing the ones that I've done, including the likes of West Ham, Man City and Saints Liverpool. I hope that the title race, the top 4 race and the relegation battle all go to the last day of the season, because that will be a very exciting. Imagine Man City playing Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa at home, where the fact that if they don't win that game, then Liverpool win the league. That would be really exciting. So I hope in terms of entertainment and jeopardy sense that happens. That would be really exciting. So if you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.